Recently we had the Yu-Gi-Oh ban list in which we found out branded fusion is going from 3 to 1. Basically meaning anyone playing the Dark Magician branded builds is crying in the club right now and in need of a new Dark Magician build to play. This is the part of the video where I say, have you tried this card? Now this card is a bit controversial, but I'm going to show you some video replays today of me playing this card in a deck list, and you can let me know what you think of it for yourself. Now, there's no doubt that Branded Fusion will be heavily missed because of its ability to be played, but also let you still summon and do other stuff outside of Link summoning and just locking you into Fusion summoning. Red Eyes Fusion is obviously a much more restrictive fusion spell that means you can't summon anything else that turn. You can set, however. But aside from that, there's no playing the game. Unless this gets hard negated by something like Solemn Judgment, then you can still normal summon and do all your special summoning as normal. A lot of people shy away from this card because Ash Blossom exists, but I'm here to tell you, you don't have to be scared of Ash Blossom. Why? Well, the Dark Magician deck loses to Ash Blossom regardless, so we may as well go big or go home and try to use the most powerful card that can be Ash Blossom. I'm going to introduce you today to the most recent update to my Dark Magician list. I will make a deck profile of it after I go to locals with it. All you can see here is that I have made it a 40 card list now, because before I was on about 45 cards, but we had the branded fusion engine and an Albaz in there. We obviously had to cut the Albaz and all the branded fusions, and it's pretty unfortunate, so let's jump into the deck list and then we'll play some games. 2 Dark Magician, because this is just kind of going to be the ratio until they fix the deck. You don't know what I'm talking about. Basically, playing 3 is dead and bricky and there's no reason to do it. Playing 1's not quite enough, and 2 just seems to be the sweet spot. 2 Red Eyes Black Dragon. 2 Red Eyes Black Dragon. Now this card, very controversial to even be in there at 1. But let's be real, Yugi played it at 1, and I'm better than him, so I'm playing 2. Now, the reason for this is it means you can resolve your ref twice, and there's a lot of people say, oh, ref resolving twice won't happen in the game, and you're actually so wrong. It does occur quite a lot. So yeah, hopefully I can show that off on stream today, because there's a number of cards in this deck that can help tie you over to help you get that second ref activation down. And there's cards that help you search that second ref. We'll talk about that more as we get to the replays. Okay, Red Eyes Black Meteor Dragon here is pretty good. It's kind of like a Magician's Souls, but it can send either brick to the grave, and then you can summon it and make plays from there. Otherwise, you're just going to want to send it off your Insight. 99% of the time, you'd rather just see Insight, send this card to the bin, and search a copy of Red Eyes Fusion, and happy days, activate this, and hope you have Called By in hand. Amazing card, because past turn 1, you can banish this from grave and search yourself a copy of Red Eyes Fusion from deck or grave. So your opponent doesn't know where that's coming from. It's pretty sensational. If they do not have Bestials or a way to banish this from grave, you kind of just pop off. That's how you get the second ref really easily. You know, the one people say will never come up. Alright, Illusion of Chaos. He's a bit of a star. We're playing 2 of him here today because he can help fix your hand. He can also help bait Ash and things like that, or at least see if your opponent has a response. This card also can help your Dragoon from getting beaten down by things like Access Code Talker, and how it does that is by searching this card here, the Apprentice Illusion Magician. She lets you give a Dark Spellcaster 2000 attack and defense during damage calc only. You might notice that Dragoon has 3000 attack, and if you negate something, it goes to 4000 attack. So in theory, if your opponent tries to access code and smack over it for 5,300, you're able to drop Apprentice and actually go all the way up to 6k and say no. On the other hand, sometimes people will hit you with a droplet on your Dragoon and then just try to beat into you with like a 3k monster, and this is also a good way to prevent you from dying to that. We've spoke about Illusion of Chaos and Apprentice. We haven't spoken about Souls and Rod, but anyone who's played Dark Magician knows what Souls and Rod are doing here. Souls is one of the soul pieces of the deck. It lets you either put DM in grave, summon itself, or put it in the grave and summon DM. Combos really well with your circle, or just spell traps you need to send for draws if you do not open ref that turn. You might be thinking, well, if I draw ref, I can't activate it, so what am I looking to draw? You're looking to draw Nadia's Servant 99% of the time, or just hand traps to keep you, in the game until the next turn. There are hand traps in here that can help you do that, and Nadia's Servant is one of those cards that will help you do that. Magician's Rod is in here as a one-of because the Red Eyes Fusion kind of takes the normal summon away from us, and there's 6 copies of Red Eyes Fusion in the deck, 7 if you include Meteor Dragon. Then Meteor Dragon's kind of a turn 2 Red Eyes Fusion. Now, Rod still has some merit because there will be hands where you just don't have a way to ref, and you'd rather just normal summon. This card can also be really good at 1 because it recurs itself with its effect, where if you use a spell trap effect on the opponent's turn, you can tribute this card and add back yourself the Magician's Rod. So once you've got Eternal Soul looping that Dark Magician, you can also loop your Magician's Rod. The Rod's also a pretty good discard for your Dragoon because you know you're going to be able to get it back at the end of the turn anyway when you flip up a spell trap. And yeah, you contribute a spellcaster, add it back. Obviously, you don't want to tribute Dragoon, but if you contribute Dark Magician, Artemis, or anything else there, you're pretty much chilling. We've already spoken about Apprentice, but she also doubles up as an extender. You can special summon her by discarding one, and then she adds a vanilla DM. And yeah, if you need to use her as a body, you can do that. Typically, you are searching her for the hand effect, which is a bit weird, but that's just kind of how it is. Obviously, if you open her, you can still do plays with her too, which is nice. She's not just like an honest in hand. She can actually do stuff on field too, so that's cool. You can also use her effect from the field. So that effect to boost by 2k is not just a hand effect, it's also a field effect. Kind of versatile in that merit, but it's kind of a mid card regardless, so one's fine. The two Dogmatika cards we've chosen to play is Ecclesia and a Fleur-de-Lis, and the reason is because with this Nadir package, you're able to get 5,500 worth of damage out of these two if you Nadir Servant on an open board and just swing. That's really nice and combos nice with some other numbers in the deck. But ultimately this package is in here though because Nadir Servant lets you summon Winder on your opponent's turn, and that is broken. Now you can also, you know, send Elder Entity, get some draw pops, send Guru to get some draws. They're also good options as well. So in conclusion, Nadir Servant, good card, but you can also use Ref and get your Dragoon out and then go on Nadir and set up your Schism play as well. So it's cool that you can do both. Alternatively, Magician Souls will be trying to draw into this if you have no better play to make. You know, that's not a Ref-based play. Preparation of Rites, this just adds you your Illusion of Chaos. Not much to say there. It's better than playing more Illusion of Chaos because this can be sent with Magician Souls for draws. So if you open up both preps, you can go prep into Illusion of Chaos, into Souls, and the other prep for a draw. If you open 3 Illusion of Chaos, you cannot do that. If you open 3 prep, you can. You know, it makes sense. Some people will say this plays into Droll and Lockbird. Are they correct? Yes. Does every card in the Dark Magician archetype play into Droll and Lockbird? Yes. Circle plays into Droll, Soul Servant plays into Droll, Insight is going to be playing into Droll, Nadir will be playing into Droll, Rod will be playing into Droll, Illusion of Chaos will be playing into Droll, Souls plays into Droll, Apprentice plays into Droll. You get the point. Everything here plays into Droll. I'm adding one extra card that plays into Droll. It's not the biggest deal in the world. Now we get to the big, beastie part of the package. The big old Red Eyes Fusion and Insight. 6 copies of a card that basically says, you win the game going second when paired with Imperm. Well, not necessarily, but there are definitely a lot of scenarios where you can just Red Eyes Fusion going second and win the game, which is something the Dark Magician deck doesn't have. We don't have a good going second button, and this card is that button. You can kind of activate this card, force your opponent to respond, or if they don't, you kind of have Dragoon and you go pop pop, swing for a big number, negate something 2 along the way and get an 1,000 attack boost. It's kind of sensational, and yeah, I know some people don't like playing the deck this way, but I urge you to give it a try. People get very disheartened when they get Ash Blossomed on their ref. You gotta realize, for every game you get Ash Blossomed on ref, there's like another 70, 60 games, 60% of games where you just don't, and you just pop off, so it is really the 33%, like, did they open the Ash? And if they didn't, you're normally having a great time, so I urge you to try this engine again, because with 6 copies versus the 3 copies of Ash, you'll see this more. You can also play things like we've got right here. Cross out to banish the Ash and say no. Fall by to banish the Ash and say no, right? Cards are good. Let's move on to the DM cards. We've got DM spells and traps here. We've got 1 Circle, 1 Soul Servant, 1 Salvation, and 1 Eternal Soul. The reason for these all being at 1 is because the DM spell traps are not very good on their own. You often need multiple to pop off, and playing pure is just not quite the way to go right now. So they're here as kind of a nice addition to the deck, but they're not necessarily needed. The deck's main goal is to summon Dragoon as much as possible, so you could argue that we should play 1 Timaeus to make the Rod and Souls combo work to summon Dragoon. I will potentially look at adding a Timaeus into the list. It is definitely a bricky card, but Timaeus does enable you to make a 2-card Dragoon if you open Souls and Rod, which would give some more merit to playing this engine in the deck at all. Of course, if you do make Dragoon this way, it will only have the 1 pop. That is absolutely fine though. It's still a 1 negate on your opponent's turn, and if you have to deal with it, it's pretty damn nice. So yeah, let's see if we can squeeze in Timaeus right now, but it is looking kind of sharp. You know what? We can just put it in. It's fine. We'll just slap him in for free. But this really makes the deck list look ugly now, so I'm really upset about that. It's fine. We'll figure out a card to cut as we're going along, but it's probably like a preparation of rights. But anyway, let's just cut a prep and keep going. So with the Timaeus added to the deck now, you're actually able to Rod and Souls combo into your Timaeus, and that's thanks to Soul Servant as well, so that's pretty nice. Soul Servant here obviously only has value when you play multiple bricks, so because we're just playing one Dark Magician, it's only ever a draw 1. So it's just going to be in here at 1. You can play it at 2 as well. This is probably one of the best DM spells, and here I am playing it at 1. But that's because I'm not really playing a deck focused on it, or DM as a core. This deck is more focused on getting out Dragoon, which is still a DM boss monster, but yeah, the strategy is very different to setting up the DM triangle, which I think should almost be abandoned at this point. Let's have a look at the last cards, Salvation, Eternal Soul, which obviously helps summon DM every turn. But then we have some power one-ofs. We've got the Schism, which does nothing on its own, but if you've set it up with Nadir, you can do some crazy stuff with it, so that's really cool. It'll let you summon out Winder on your opponent's turn, which is pretty crazy, and it lets you send a Dark to the grave then. And if you have Winder with Dragoon, and if you have Village too, you kind of just win the game. Skill Drain. This card's at 1 now, I'm just going to main deck it. Right? I don't know, whenever Skill Drain's at 1, I just main deck it. That's just a LOZA thing. It obviously clashes with the Imperms right next to it, but, you know, if you see both of these, you're probably having a good time because you saw Skill Drain. It's very funny. There's definitely games where you top deck Skill Drain and you're like, wow, this is useless. But if you see it in that opening hand and you don't have ref or your ref gets ashed, you're like really happy about that. And yeah, the deck can kind of play on a Skill Drain quite well, thanks to, you know, Magician Soul summons out DM. That's quite a big attack monster to pair with Skill Drain. Plus, if you don't know, Magician Souls can actually send Skill Drain for a draw because it sends for cost, and then on resolution, it will draw because Skill Drain's now left the field. So you can actually turn off your own Skill Drain too if you'd like to then wombo combo on your opponent. So that's a really awesome thing the DM deck can do for those who don't know. Magician Souls helps you turn off all Floodgates, so hell yeah. Into the hand traps. To Nibiru with Snake Eyes getting hit. I know Appaloosa on the ban list, or Appaloosa is on the ban list now. Nibiru increases in value, especially when, you know, this deck doesn't really want to summon on its turn. It's just going to ref and pass. So having Nibiru as a way to go second, break the opponent's board, and then ref on your turn, it's kind of crazy. And yeah, I just thought let's main deck this hand trap now at 2, just because, well, ban list moment, right? No Appaloosas anymore. And I think this will be quite good into Snake Eyes now. But we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. 2 Ash, because it's mainly here because cross out target, but it's also not a bad hand trap to open, so I think 2's fine. And the triple Imperm, because this is a hand trap where if you open multiple, you can use all of them, whereas Nib and Ash are once per turns. I know we're only playing, what was that, 8 hand traps? That's 7 hand traps, sorry. That's really not many going second cards. You probably need more. But the deck is also playing 6 cards that are Red Eyes Fusion, which is definitely a going second card. So I would count Red Eyes Fusion and Insight 6 going second cards along with the 7 here, giving us 13 going second cards. Definitely not the same as a hand trap, but still sensational. Like, obviously Red Eyes Fusion is not going to stop you from getting Gimmick Puppet FTK'd, but Imperm, Nibiru, and Ash are. And you know what? It might give us a valid argument to put some Effect Veilers into the side deck. There's also Droll, which will help you in that matchup too. But yeah, I feel like this would be good. You probably don't need this on Omega because there's no time rules, but I like this for time. Anyway, that is the main deck. The extra deck's going to have double Dragoon because, you know, we can summon both. We've got the Nadir Servant stuff, so there's Elder Entity, Nitis, and Garura, which will be sent off Nadir. And then we've got the Winder package to set up the Schism, play real nice. Chaos Angel in here because if you summon out Dark Magician of Souls and your normal Rod, you can go into this, and if Rod added Circle, you can go Rod add Circle, activate Circle, Soul Summon DM, get a Banish with Circle, go into Chaos Angel, get a second Banish. You have a 3,500 attack boss monster you can just slap your opponent with. You do miss one of the effects, so you will only be having the Dark effect where you can't be destroyed. Monsters you control can't be destroyed by battle. You will miss the Synchro effect, or the Light effect rather. Synchro monsters are unaffected by monster effects activated by your opponent, but that's just how it is. I don't think there's a way to get it summoned with a light target in this deck, but you know, you could figure that out for your own deck if you really cared. But I've just figured out if you do have Ecclesia and Meteor Dragon out, but Meteor Dragon summons itself as a 6, so I don't know, this will never happen. I don't know, I thought there was, oh wait, no, yeah, you could have Apprentice out with Fleur-de-Lis, no, sorry, Ecclesia. If you have Ecclesia out and you have Apprentice out, you technically can go into Chaos Angel. Just not the turn you specialed her or used her effect to search, but that's interesting too. So you can make Chaos Angel that way, and it does have both effects, so that's really cool. Not intentional, by the way, I just figured that out right now, so cool. Access code package, which is going to be your Selene, your Dark, and your access code. You gotta love to see these. These are just good in DM builds, Dark decks, Spellcaster decks. It's cool. We've also got the IP package with SP and Unicorn. I know Unicorn's a little dated. You could definitely sub this out for like BLS or something else if you're into that too. And then we've just got Link, Spider, and Artemis to help you just make rotations with your Dark Magician and your Rod, be able to recycle them. Also, Artemis lets you summon your Souls or Rod and then link into this, and then Nadir, and you're able to special the Ecclesia, right, and combo off from there a little bit more, which is nice. But yeah, you know what, Unicorn might be a card that goes here. I'm kind of down for us to play instead the Black Luster Soldier Link 3. I do, this card has a special place in my heart, being like a Yugi card, and also an extra boss monster if you need it to be that. It can really help you beat some matchups, so yeah, you can play this instead of Unicorn for sure. I think this is actually a better choice right about now. But yeah, side deck's obviously subjective, I'm not going to talk about it, but I would say put Village in your side deck for sure, and you can put in Magic Formula to win in time. And yeah, some hand traps never hurt, and Evenly's cool too. But yeah, that's the list. Let's play some games. Okay, we got 3 replays here. None of them were really against meta, but it's just more so how the deck plays anyway, and no one on ladder is playing meta right now on YUGIOH Omega, so there's not much I can do about that. But here's an interesting game against Stun. Alright, let's have a look at some replays. First up, we've got this one where I am not versing meta. I don't think any of them are, sadly, because people are just kind of playing random stuff. We're versing Mikanko, which is a very annoying deck. Anyone who's played Master Duels versus this deck and cried. So yeah, we're gonna find out how we deal with this using this hand that doesn't really... Nibiru here does not help us at all, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna get rid of it later. Drawing Insight off the top, there you go. God hand for going second. I've focused on, you know, the ref engine being so good going second, and here's where you're gonna see why. This is not technically the best way I could have played this. I should have Nadir Servant here and Elder Entity Hypnotist to pop the continuous spell. Then I'd be able to pop the monster with Dragoon effect, but I just tried to use Dragoon effect and popped it, and it failed because of the equip spell. But you know what? We live and learn from watching the replays and stuff. And here you're going to see I'll do Nadir afterwards to set up the Schism play. Though, I don't think I even need it because Dragoon alone kind of solos this deck as long as Imperm negates their monster effects. As long as you have a way to stop them from being really annoying, you're pretty good to go. If they can just attack into Dragoon and burn you for game, so you got to be careful with that. But with Schism set, and I also have Eternal Soul, I'm feeling kind of chill right now. I'm going to discard that Nibiru to negate something. Negating good, they're going to hit the FF, and that's... Typically, DM against Rogue, you kind of just win with Dragoon alone. It's kind of sensational. This next replay, wow, great hand. Insight, Crossout, Souls, Ref. Really good for going second. Nice! It's a new deck. Voiceless Voice is... Voiceless Voice is kind of meta. I wouldn't say it's, you know, on the same level as Snake Eyes. But actually, it kind of is. Voiceless is quite good. They're going to set up this guy. Right here, not Low, but Low will be in the Great Skull Guardian. The Skull Guardian, they're going to set up double Skull Guardian. This deck's, for a ritual deck, this deck is really good. This card is sensational and kind of makes the whole deck flow. So we're going to see them ritual summon 3 or 4 cards. And we're pretty much just going to activate Ref and say we don't care. And that's pretty much how most matchups are going to go for playing second. Going first, obviously, you're just hoping they don't have Ash. Going second, you're like, damn, I hope there's one card here is an Ash, even though I have Crossout. But they will have a negate for the Crossout, for example. So, just luckily in this case, we got triple Ref also, like, you'll love to see it. We're going to summon Dragoon, go pop pop. Apologies. They're going to try to negate our pop, so we're going to negate that effect. So just destroy that card, get that Ritual Skull Guardian off the field. They're going to chain the trap to try to search something, we don't really care. We pop pop, we swing into something for damage. And, yeah, that's pretty much how it's going to be. They forced us to discard a card there because we attacked, and it's like, well, we don't care. We discarded Ref, that's fine. We can still add it next turn with Meteor, so that's fine. We're going to negate something, go to 5k. We set Ecclesia, probably didn't need to, but we did. And we got Crossout set just in case they go for prep again, because we are playing prep. So I thought I'll set it just in case, or maybe they go for a hand trap or something. But it ends up being just a dead card on the in the back row, but you'll notice my opponent here cannot find a way to get higher than 5,000 attack. They're doing their dex combo, they're doing everything, but I just don't think they can get there, and they will scoop. Yay! Alright, last replays against stun, because everyone hates stun. This is all I can verse on the ladder right now. I don't know, it's just these jank decks, so sorry I couldn't get anything verse meta. I'll have to test with an actual person, so please comment down below if you'd like to help me test new DM builds. If you play Snake Eyes, if you play, you know, Voiceless Voice, if you play Ubel, please hit me up so we can test against real decks. So in these videos I can actually show quality content of, you know, people playing the good decks. But anyway, I'm going to foolishly try to play around this card by trying to pop it, and he can just send a Brandon card to stop that, but then we're able to destroy the Fossil Diner, so then it works out fine, because that's only a once per turn effect, this field spell, or this continuous spell. So that worked out good, and now he's just in this loop of summoning Ecclesia, and we don't really care about that, right? We're just gonna set up DM stuff. Apprentice was really good here because it put DM in our hand. Sadly, he normals Dragoon, and we can't flip Eternal Soul now. So what we actually have to do is we're going to try and bait these back rows, see what they are. We know they're not necessarily judgments or anything like that, so we're going to normal summon Dark Magician, activating circles. He's going to try Crackdown, we're going to Eternal Soul, and he's going to chain the punishment. The DM does leave the field, and the Tisk does pop the Eternal Soul, meaning we lose our board, but we outed the problematic card Dragoon. Now we can special summon, so next time we're going to be able to ref as long as this card doesn't matter. And we're going to see me activate ref here blind, and it's going to resolve, and that's just going to be the game from there, right? It's pretty standard. It's like a coin flip. If the ref resolves, you pretty much win, and if it doesn't resolve, you normally lose. That is pretty much how the deck is played. And I know that strategy, or that style of play, can be very boring, it can be degenerate, it can be frustrating when you do get negated on the ref. Yes, I understand, but it's still the best way to play the deck. And it indefinitely is the only and best way to play the deck now. Unfortunately, Branded Fusion is gone. So, I'll try and get some replays, as I mentioned. Maybe a new video will just be replays. If someone could play meta, that would be fantastic. We do need to update this deck's name, don't we? Because now we are in September. But yeah, this is the list that I'm settling on as of now. I could do a new one. I'll probably do it IRL once I take this to locals. There may be some tweaks along the way, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, thank you for joining me. I'm LOZA. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. As per the new thing we're doing at the end of videos, the top comment from my last video, how Konami could fix the Dark Magician deck, where I showcased a Palladium Link 1 that could use the Dark Magician bricks from the hand to summon itself. I was met with a comment that has a different suggestion, but I like it, so I've given him a fat heart. And it is Aredo515, and they've said a Palladium Link 1 that searches Soul Servant, summons the bricks from the hand, and synergizes with Rod's recycle effect would be the best outcome for DM decks, I think. And you know what? It's pretty close to my idea, but a little bit different, so I kind of like that. So, very cool comment. Thank you to Based Aredo, and don't forget to comment down on this video for your chance to feature in the next one. But yeah, thanks guys, I'll catch you later.